we feeling tonight? Okay, you know what? Let me put this phone down. Absolutely not. You have had cocktails for like the last 2 hours. It is Friday. When I say, how are we feeling tonight? Come on, thank you. This is Cayocho after all. Like, we cannot disappoint people. I'm Kimmy B. I'm the co-host of the DJ Laz Morning Show with Kimmy B on 93.9 MIA. It's such an honor to be here with you all this evening. How many people have been turning up the entire month of March celebrating Women's History Month? One thing I have learned about South Florida is that we are never at a loss for incredible, amazing, pioneering women. On my old radio station, I used to highlight a different woman every single day. That's, 30 days has September, April, June. I still have to do that, by the way, when I'm trying to figure out how many days a month has. Like, I go through the whole little song, 30 days has September, April, June. It's got 30. Anyway, no, it's got 31. 31? 31, because it's Women's History Month, so we got the extra day. Okay, there we go. But you figure, I did that for like 3 years. That's 90 women that are running businesses, that are saving lives, that are doing groundbreaking research at these incredible universities that we have. They're firefighters, they're doctors, they're moms that are just crushing the game and changing the path for children that are maybe on the spectrum. I mean, when I tell you amazing women, and today the El Dorado family have put together a fabulous panel for us. If you don't know, El Dorado has been doing this for over 55 years. Their story is spectacular. Raise your hand if you know the story of the Capo family. Yes. If you don't, it is definitely one that you need to know. It involves a boat from Cuba, of course. It involves a dream. It involves a father who would give up his own dining room table so that his neighbors would have a place to sit and eat for the holidays. I'm gonna cry, like, I don't know why, but like, their story is amazing. I've been at their grand openings, and they bring in a priest, and we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and we sing the national anthem, and they are the true embodiment of the American dream. But as the new generation makes their way into the family business, they're upping the ante. They did a fabulous event or experience for Art Basel. They've been supporting the LGBTQIA+ community, and when they decided that they wanted to do something really big for Women's History Month, I was like, please, where do I sign up? Because if anybody's gonna do it right, it's gonna be the El Dorado family. So have we had a good time tonight? I mean, this place looks amazing, right? Hopefully you all took your pictures at the installations and activations, especially the studio, because that one was mine. I'm just saying, it's up in the front. You couldn't miss it. But no, they're all great. Bonnie Beats has her stage. I know my girl Marivette has her quince set up back there, so if you didn't get to have a quince, you can tonight. And then, of course, Keesha has her fabulous island vibes in the back with a little homage to Miss Celia Cruz. So you definitely need to stop off in front of all of these, take your pictures, social it up. Hashtag Ella El Dorado. It's actually Ella Dorado. I don't know. The pressure's on. And I'm a gringa, by the way. Don't let this very long dark hair fool you. I am a white girl, so please excuse me when I say Aya. You know, there's nothing sexy about it when I say it, so I apologize, but I just want to give you that little disclaimer there. Thank you for hiring the Gringa El Dorado family, right? American dream, equal opportunity, right, for all of us. So there you go. With that being said, we're going to start our panel, so I would like for you to make a warm Cayocho El Dorado a round of applause for my girl Keesha Morisma right here. She's going to come up and have a seat. We've got Marivette. Marivette already told me I didn't have to try to say her last name because she heard how I said A, and she was like, don't even bother. She will fill you in on her last name. And then my fabulous friend Bonnie Beats. Bonnie Beats, everybody. And like I said, I'm Kimmy B. I don't know. I feel very uncomfortable in this chair. Ooh, okay, here we go. All right, so with that being said, we're going to start this panel. Ladies, if you could maybe give us a little backstory on who you are and what you do so folks have a little bit of a better understanding of where we're coming from when we get into these real conversations, starting with Marivette.
Well, thank you, Kimmy, and thank you to the El Dorado family for having us here. It's such an honor to be here tonight. My name is Marivette Navarette. I am the founder and CEO of the Mujerista. The Mujerista is a digital publication and network for Latinas. Our mission is to empower and uplift the Latina community. And so we tend to have a lot of interviews with Latina entrepreneurs, Latinas in media, designers, with the goal of, again, uplifting the Latina community and letting them see the power within themselves, and that they also have a voice and that they need to share that voice loudly and authentically. Thank you.
Love it.
Hello. There's a lot of people out here.
There are.
Wow. My name is Keesha Morisma, and I am the founder of Zhuzh. Zhuzh is an accessory brand. Our goal is to empower artisans by employing them. So I always say I'm on a world tour, and the first stop of my tour is Lomé, Togo, which is a country right in between Benin and Ghana. So I go there and I employ artisans to create beautiful pieces and accessories. So I am about storytelling. I'm a designer, I'm a stylist, and sometimes I feel we forget our stories through our clothing. So it's important to go to these countries and speak to these artisans, the people who make things with their hands, and get these stories back into the things that we wear. So that is what I do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hard acts to follow. My name is Bonnie Beats. I curate events, I produce, I work in music, and I like to say that I create safe spaces for the marginalized community, artists, women, those in the part of the LGBTQ community, and yeah, I do events. I throw parties is what I do, guys.
It's very Miami of you, right? Very Miami. We
very.
love it. We love a city where you can get checks to throw parties. Don't be jealous. Okay, so like I said, I'm Kimmy B. I've been a radio personality for 18 years. That's a long time. I forget how old I am sometimes. And I'm also a podcast host. The podcast is actually called Man TF Up. For some reason, I like to put myself toe-to-toe with angry, middle-aged white men and have really intense conversations. I don't know, it brings me joy and it's fun, and at the end I feel like it's cathartic, right? But we have some important conversations that need to be had. We have conversations about gender equity, and we have conversations about the LGBTQ community. We have conversations about cancel culture. We have conversations about women's place in the world as that continues to change and grow and evolve. And that, I think, is what we're here to have conversations about tonight. So I think the first question on the list is a great question, and there's a lot of ways that it can go. Let's talk about our personal experience being a woman in our particular industries, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have prefaced this by saying we're going to have raw and real conversations. I don't know if somebody wants to take it first or if you want me to kick it off. Marivette looks like she's ready.
I was just going to ask if we have enough time for this.
That's what I said. I was like, how long is this panel? Because that first question is a loaded one. So, the industry that you're in, Marivette, for you is publication, which is clearly, I know we think a lot about these female-targeted magazines, right? Elle, Vogue, W. But if you were to open up the front page and read through that editor's list or the publisher list, you'd be amazed at how few women actually have leading roles in these magazines that are targeted at women. It's the same in radio, right? A lot of radio, a lot of entertainment targets women. Why? Because women usually control the purse strings in the homes. I'm sorry, fellas, if I just offended anybody. I didn't mean to, but it's true. Even if you don't think your woman does, it's probably the way she wants it, right? She probably has set that up that way intentionally. But we target things towards women, even though men are the ones running it a lot. So there's a bit of irony there, right? You would think that if you're curating something for women, you would be having more women in positions of power making decisions and really guiding the narrative. But that's not the case.
Well, part of the reason why I started the Mujerista was because there are so little women-owned publications and platforms, and less so when it comes to minority or Latina women. And so I wanted to create a safe space for Latinas that talked beyond the typical gossip and entertainment and fashion. The chisme, exactly.
Woo! Can I get a little credit for knowing that word? Right? Okay.
Yes, you did great.
Thank you.
Because when I was looking for a space like this a few years ago, I realized that there were so little platforms that dedicated to actual substance about the issues that are really impacting the Latino community, and more so when it comes to Latinas. And so I said, if it's not there, I'm just going to create it myself. let's see what happens. And luckily, it came at a time when it was very necessary. There was a lot of negative rhetoric when it came to the Latino community, and just stereotypical ways that we were being portrayed in the media. And so it came at a time where a lot of millennial Latinas were looking for a space where they felt represented. And so our goal has been to create that for our community, a space where you feel seen, you feel heard, you feel represented. And I feel like we've been accomplishing that little by little. And we've been seeing the response from these mujeres that are contacting us like, wow, I didn't know there was a Peruvian in this industry, or a Nicaragüense, a Nicaragüense musician who's like in part of a festival, a big festival, you know, just different things like that. Where we're trying to bring this narrative or show this narrative that we are so much more than your typical El Gordo y la Flaca. No offense to El Gordo y la Flaca, but you know, there's more to us than that. And so we've been kind of creating that space for ourselves. And in this industry in particular, like you said, it's very much being gatekept, I guess, by a lot of men. And so we're trying to push that and show that women can do this as well.
Well, she was featured actually on Forbes.com, the magazine. I had to do a little digging, and that's incredible. I know on Instagram you have close to 70,000 followers. The engagement is crazy. She's had some phenomenal guests. But I have to ask you, I mean, the fact that we have the internet is fantastic, but do you ever feel like when you walk into a room, because you still need funding, you still need to go toe to toe with the big dogs in order to get, you know, the interviews and things like that. How do you deal with the people? And I'm gonna just come out and say, you're tiny. Like, not only that, right? Like, you're this tiny little package with this huge vision. I can imagine that a lot of times people try to railroad, you know what I'm saying? People try to, you know, really control the dialogue and the conversation.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because for me, like you said, I'm tiny. I've been tiny my whole life. And so I've always been very insecure about my stature and my size, because Latinas are usually portrayed as these curvy goddesses, Amazonian almost. And I'm the opposite of that. At least I was completely growing up, even more so. I had braces and glasses and all that stuff. And so walking into a room right now, it's very surreal, because I'm learning how to embody being this powerful woman who has a vision and knows what she wants. And it's fighting those insecurities. It's fighting that sort of like imposter syndrome that's talked about very often. And I've luckily been surrounded by an incredible group of Latina women in the space that have been very supportive, who have already been through that and have come back to me and been like, this is what I went through, this is what I learned, let me teach this or show you so that you can be greater than that. And I think that's so important, that we as women, we as mujeres, that we don't forget to look back and uplift one another, because I think that's the only way that we will have this continuous change and see ourselves in these incredible positions of power in different spaces in different industries. It's definitely been surreal, but I'm pushing against that and showing, whether it's men or other women, it doesn't matter what size I am, it doesn't matter what I look like, it doesn't matter where I come from. I have a mission, I know what I want, and I'm gonna do it.
Yes, I love that. So what about you, Keesha? Good, bad, and ugly, being a woman in your industry. Now you travel, you're taking yourself out of your comfort zone. I mean, I'm assuming, because if you're curating and creating things, you're haggling. You know, you've got to go toe-to-toe with people over fabrics and everything else. I mean...
The traveling part is the most important part for me, because it makes me see myself. You know, like publications, I don't see myself in Vogue. I used to work for Oscar de la Renta in New York doing fashion shows. I didn't see myself. There was a quota of like only 2 black models. And I'd be like, I want one of the black models. I want to help my girls. So when I travel, and I'm talking about Cuba, first time I went to Cuba, everybody looks like me, you know? And when I travel to these places all over the world, I'm like, we need to bring this image back home to America, because America thinks that there's this one image of beauty, and it's not that. We are full, we have kinky hair, we have full lips, we have wide nose, we have wide hips, big butts, all of that. And it's important for me to show the young people, because I also work with young people that, oh no, this is how we really look. Everything is curated. So the bad part is being in an industry that doesn't celebrate you. Mm-hmm. The good part is going out into the world and seeing real people and human from all over the world and bringing that image back home so women can feel seen.
Yeah.
And what's the good, bad, ugly? These white publications telling me, a black woman, how I should look.
Yeah.
So that's the ugly part.
Well, I was going to say, having those conversations, again, when you walk in a room and somebody's trying to tell you what beauty is, right? And
Yeah.
having none of the parts that you have.
Yeah.
Having never had to walk a day of their life in your shoes with
Yeah.
that kind of pressure, right? That kind of weighs down on us. And then I'm sure many of them tell you, oh, you're making too much of it.
You know what? Walk out of the room. You know, that's how you build a community to do these things. Like, I know photographers, I know models, I know hair, I know makeup, I know crafty services. Mm-hmm. Create your own room. If I'm not welcome in this room, if I walk into a room and someone tells me I'm ugly, I'm too this, I'm too that, why am I gonna stay in this room? Why am I gonna fight with you on how I know I can look or who I am? I'm just gonna create a room with other people who look like me to create a space for other people who look like me. Absolutely. I'm not staying in your room. Your room is raggedy, so bye.
That needs to be a hashtag. Your room is raggedy. I'm glad that we have that on tape. That's going on a shirt, girl. I'll give you publishing or something on it, but we making that, Angie. We're making that shirt. We need a whole Dorado line that you can pick up exclusively at El Dorado furniture locations, right? Look at that. Ideas just flowing. All right. Bonnie, I know you probably have stories for days.
I mean, it's about the stories that I can share. But I mean, piggybacking off of what these two amazing women said, it's about creating that space for all of us to thrive and working with already what's existing, leveraging relationships, building new ones, and just educating those that you're collaborating with. I agree with you. I agree about leaving the room. That creates a statement, and that also follows up, or that backs up what you said about coming into a room knowing what you want, what your desires are, and what your vision is. When you come into, especially as women, we need to come in headstrong. We need to know what we want so that we can be able to speak on those wants and needs and get the reinforcement or get the support from that room. I mean, and that, at least for me, that's what's worked for me, because I look very different from the average person. I carry myself very different. I'm Latina, queer, so nothing about my journey has been easy. But honestly, it's about also understanding and acknowledging that we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know, men, women, ethnicities and all that aside, we're people, we're human. Understand it's all about communication, understanding where they're coming from, understanding the societal, I guess, upbringings that those people had, and not letting those things affect you personally, and just reading the room. Yes. Read the room, and see what you can use to your benefit to further your mission. So it's really been about that.
I love that you say that, because I think that's something that we're missing in 2022 is the conscious effort to understand where someone else is coming from, whether you agree with what is coming out of their mouth or not. Like you said, stopping down for a minute and taking into consideration their cultural background, their experiences, their perspective on whatever it is that you feel so strongly about. Because it's not that you have to coalesce. It's not that you have to agree with them. That's not what I'm saying. But I think you will find yourself in a better way to navigate the conversation and actually affect change, right? If you just go toe-to-toe with that person and all you're doing is bumping heads and nobody is taking a minute to stop down and listen,
absolutely,
we don't get anywhere. And that's where we're at, I think, in 2022. We are at a stalemate because nobody wants to listen right now to what the other person has to say. And understanding is the most important part of it. Knowing where Keesha comes from, understanding Marivette's journey and struggles, knowing what makes Bonnie tick is what's going to literally make everybody better. But you ladies are all in a unique situation. How many people here own their own business or work for themselves? How many people work for the man? Right? More of a, and I use that term figuratively, but like, so I work in radio, and unfortunately, as fun as it is to do podcasting on your own or internet radio, when you work in radio, you work for major corporations. Like I now work for iHeartMedia. We have 900 radio stations. We're one of the biggest media companies on the planet, literally. I don't run that show, right? So unfortunately, I can't always walk out of the room when I don't like the way the room is moving. I have to learn how to maneuver in the room, right? And that's another skill set that I think women excel at when given the opportunity. But it's important to know that there's room for more than one of us in the room. You open the door and there's already a female sitting at the table. Understand, don't go for her job, go for the dude sitting next to her.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because the more of us sitting at the table, the better off that company's gonna be, the better off all of our experiences are gonna be, and the better it's gonna be for the next generation of women who, like Marivette said, are gonna be standing on our shoulders. You understand? So I think that that's such an important thing. It's why it's important that Angie Capol put this night together. It's important when you see women here. There's room for all of us in the room. And when more of us are in the room, Keesha won't have to walk out because the room won't be raggedy no more. Right? So I mean,
I love how you say women have that power. I always believe the thing that God gave women is intuition.
yes.
And that's the thing sometimes. You hear the thing, but we don't want to listen to the thing.
Yep.
That's the problem. And like you said, like, if your intuition tells you something, follow that intuition, because that's the thing that God gave women. Sorry, men, but y'all don't have intuition like us.
You don't
Y'all
have that
other
woman's
things, but
instinct,
intuition's not it.
Yeah.
But that, I completely agree with you with that. That's the thing that we have, and we have to really harness on really listening to our intuition.
I mean, I love that. I just, as far as intuition goes, in business, right? I think sometimes part of that also is it's the leap. We hear a lot about the leap, right? There's a lot of buzzwords out right now that I love. Who's heard the word manifestation, right? I'm here for it. Who has ever made a vision board? Anybody made a vision board, a dream big board?
I have one.
Listen, fellas, get on this, guys. Listen, you know, you want a Bugatti, put it on the board. I mean, whatever. But like, they're buzzwords. And if you don't understand what they really entail, I think you lose out on a lot, right? Because you can manifest, you can have a vision in your mind for what you see, but it's got to be backed up by intention, right?
Absolutely.
And you guys are all entrepreneurs. That's never an easy route to take. How many doors get slammed in your face? How many times, like, have you seen, there's a meme that's going around the internet right now. It's like, you know, I started my own business so I could quit my 9 to 5, and now I work 24 hours a day, right? And that's facts, but if you love what you do, that work feels different. That 20-hour day hits different. That sleep is the best sleep that you will ever have, and it doesn't matter if it's only a 30-minute nap because you're getting up to do what you love. But when things get really tough, when the doors get slammed in your faces, what do you guys do? Where do you pull from to keep going?
That's a really good question, because that's something I'm learning to this day. To be frank, the last year and a half, I felt like I had gone through a depression, just because I love what I'm doing. I truly do. I'm very passionate about it. But like you said, it's a 24-hour plus sort of situation, and it's nonstop. And because it's something that has your name on it, you're pushing even harder because it's representative of who you are as well. And so, I found myself needing to take some time off. And learning that I don't have to work so hard all the time, that I could take breaks, I could have weekends off.
Say it loud so it's the women especially, and the fellas in the back can hear you. Say it one more time.
Yes,
You can what?
I need to take breaks, have some weekends off, have some nights off, and more than anything, and this is the biggest thing that I have learned, aside from having a very supportive circle of friends that understand what you're going through, is to celebrate those minute
Yeah.
wins,
Yes.
big, small, whatever it is, celebrate it, whether it's going to have a drink or dinner with your family, having some time where you look back and refocus and just see everything that you have accomplished
Yeah.
so far, I've learned has really helped me move forward and push harder and continue going, because I've realized what I'm doing is effective.
Yeah.
It's creating change. People are responding to it. And that makes me realize I need to keep going. And so I think celebrating your wins is one of the key things that
Yeah.
has really helped me dig deep and flourish farther.
I love it.
I agree with you. Like, balance is everything for me. I always tell my mom, I wasn't put on this earth to work. I need to enjoy my life. That's a big part of life, is enjoying it.
Yeah.
And the whole hustle culture, don't sleep 24/7. No, I need
It's a lie.
I need to recharge and be refreshed, because when I'm so tired, I don't do a good job. I'm not myself. I'm not healthy. I don't have my mind. Why am I creating in that state? So it's important for me to recharge and find a balance. Like, of course I'm gonna work, but I'm not gonna work 24/7. I have family. I have a life. And
Are any of your family members here? Somebody's here because I heard somebody. Okay.
my family
I was like, I
here.
thought I heard somebody talking about they've known you. Like, what? It was in the bathroom. Was there somebody talking in the bathroom to a little person? Okay, maybe not. I thought
Oh, probably my
Was it?
goddaughter.
It was the best conversation ever. Does she take time off? Tell the truth. You can blast her in front of these people.
I do
Does
take
she take?
time
Off, does she? Will she stop down?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna manifest it. See, don't
Yeah,
do that
no,
right
I
now. We're,
take time off.
we're being real with our family
No.
here.
Listen, I take time off. I was supposed to be in Africa for 20 days, and I end up staying for 2.5 months because I was so.
Were you
relaxed.
working while you were there?
I was working the first 20 days, but the rest of the time, I took my time to really immerse in the culture, because I don't know the way this world is going. I don't know the next time I'm going to be in Africa.
Yeah.
So I'm going to enjoy my life and the
Okay.
people around me.
And
All
it's
right.
also important because it helps you create again. You know,
Exactly.
like when we keep buying into this idea of the girl boss kind of movement, and it's such a lie. But like when you refocus and re-energize yourself, you find yourself being able to create
Exactly.
again and differently and something more exciting and fun. So I completely agree with
Yeah,
you.
you're not burnt out. You have sleep. You are in a position where you're able to receive like all the downloads, which is your creativity. So balance for me is very important. Work-life balance, I highly recommend it.
I'm taking notes because if anybody knows me, work-life balance is something I have not mastered yet, right? Bonnie, you're looking at this like, I can see it on your face, but you work in an interesting industry, and I feel like you have a window. Do you know what I mean? And you really have to maximize your window, and maybe that's just the older ended millennial in me putting a timeline on something, you know what I mean? And being like, I need to do everything right now, make my mark, grow my brand, all of these things. And the next thing you know, a decade's gone by and you're like, ah. So talk to me, Bonnie. How do you do it? How do you refocus? Where do you pull from when things get crazy?
By surrounding myself with inspiring women like these women over here, seeing how they do it, and like I said, taking a break, knowing when you are burning out, it's really being self-aware, and also, I mean, I don't want to call out anybody. However, you know, we grew up with I'm pretty sure we all grew up with really strong mothers and female figures who did burn themselves out. Yes. And they love us. I know, like the women in our lives love us, but a lot of that spilled over onto us. And I think what we're doing now is that we're learning from previous generations, and we're trying to find the best, of both worlds, so that we can, continue to build strong women who are well balanced, who understand their own intuitions and their passions. But I mean, it's really about that, surrounding yourself with there's that saying, right, that you are the result of your 3 closest friends.
Yeah.
So it's just surrounding yourself with empowering women, seeing how they're doing it, and also, and again, that self-awareness, knowing when you're just not it, when you're not vibing, when you're not performing at your best, and finding out why, and taking that time to understand that.
You know what, though? All of you up here, again, you run a magazine, you have a design business. Your job is entertainment, Bonnie. Like, you're giving a lot of your energy. I know the moms out there can definitely relate to this, right? Like when you're caring for everyone in your family, your husband or your wife, you're caring for your partner, your children, usually your parents. Then you go to work and you're usually, caring for people on the job. I think it's difficult, but it's something that we need to remind ourselves of as women, that you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you.
Opa.
They agreed. They agreed.
Well, it's also understanding.
Profound thing I just said.
I just had like an epiphany. I think it's also understanding where a lot of that comes from. I think as women, a lot of us feel we have a little bit of guilt.
Pull your mic up.
Oh, sorry. It's also understanding why we feel the need to work so much. Also, which it comes from that insatiate need to take care of people, and we feel guilty when we don't show up. And then again, like understanding that that's also generational, that's upbringing, that's cultural, and saying, wait a minute, that's not me speaking, that's all the other women and all the other societal conditioning speaking through me. Let me go ahead and take a step back and take care of number one, because I know that when I'm good, I can extend that and help my peers too. But you gotta put the mask on yourself
So
first.
much easier said than done, though.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not like we're keeping it real. Like I love how all of this sounds, and I literally I got let go from my last job in September. I had never lost a job in my life. I've been with the same company for 18 years, and anybody that worked with me will tell you, like, it was so mind-blowing for them, because I was the person, I did morning radio, which means I was at the radio station at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would still be there at 7 o'clock at night. I did multiple markets, I would do events, I did community, and I loved every minute of it, and I wouldn't take back any of it. But when I was let go, I realized that giving all of you to something may not always give back to you in that way. And I swore I was gonna change. I swore. And I had 4 months off, I was on fun employment, and it was lovely. But I was bored as hell. I was so bored. I was so bored not doing what I loved. And I realized that I'm one of those people that thrives under pressure, right? I'm one of those people that thrives with the more tasks I have on my plate, the more things I have, the more people that are emailing me like, get back to my email. And I'm saying that's for the El Dorado family right now. Because they're like, oh my God, girl, just answer your emails.
For me, though, this is what I owe the women that came before me.
Yeah.
Like, my installation is of the market. So a lot of my family members my grandma used to sell in her small town in Saint Louis du Nord in Haiti, in that market, go to the capital in Port-au-Prince in that market, then go to the Bahamas in that market and sell. She worked really hard. Then that hard work went to my mother, and my mother's a nurse, and she works very hard. I was born in this country. I have resources, and I have tools. I can work smarter than harder. So because you guys did all this hard work, I can do it a little smarter, and I can give back more, because you guys did all that hard work to put me in the position. So it's like you have to know how to break that cycle, because that's not a healthy cycle, to work all the time. So thank you for doing that. I see what you did, but you put me in the position where I can work 30 hours a week and still be good and have another side hustle and make a little money and then send back to Haiti if I have to. But I'm not gonna kill myself. I saw what you guys did and I thank you, but I owe it to you to be a better businesswoman. So yeah, I see it that way.
No, I mean, it is. It's like I said, it's inspiring to hear. Again, I think that it all depends on the type of person you are, and that's the beauty, is that I think as women, we just need to not judge one another, and we need to support everybody in whatever their hustle looks like, but having the people to lean on that can check you a little bit and be like, have you taken a vacation? Like, it's a holiday weekend, right? Enjoy it. Like, put your phone down or whatever. Like, so the whole kind of circling community, and that's why we're all here. And it's important to find those people that will reel you back in when you're kind of spiraling. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna spiral too. I know these ladies all have it together up here on this stage right now, and they feeling good, and they're like, yes, it's Women's History Month. But I know Keesha has been up there with, with a like, if somebody's going, girl, you're gonna have a bald spot, you keep pulling on that hair like that. And Marivette, She said that to you. I heard that laugh. See, I'm there with you. I'm there with you, girl. And I know Marivette has been talked off a ledge a time or 12. You know, we talk about, like you said, those small wins, and it's amazing because when you're in it all the time, ladies, you don't feel like you're doing enough. You don't see the success. You don't see the growth until you do stop down. And to me, that's really the most important part of it. The stop down isn't necessarily because, oh, I'm working smarter. I need the moment to reflect and see how, I really want to swear, but I'm not going to. See how amazing I am. See how far I've come. See the impact that grind is having on the people around me, on the culture, on the community at large, right? Like, that's really what that stop down is for, because all you do once you've had that moment is recharge. And you go harder, and you go bigger, and you go stronger. Like, that's what women do. Like, when we realize we're doing something right, oh, it's over. Like, it's over for you.
And
like,
to just kind of piggyback to what you were saying, I think that's why it's really important to have a very supportive group of friends that are in a same, not industry, but that are possibly entrepreneurs or have their own passion projects that they're really working hard on, because nobody will understand what you are going through, the highs and lows of being an entrepreneur, of having your own, like, you know, business. Yeah. Nobody would understand it unless they're in that kind of same field. And so I've made sure that I've had like a group of women, specifically women, because we have on top of that other situations or issues that we go through as women, as entrepreneurs. So I make sure to surround myself around women that are also entrepreneurs that can let me see, hey, you need to slow down.
Yeah.
Hey, this can get done another day. Or reflect on, these are the changes that you're making in your community, and then it also allows me to go to them and tell them, hey, what you're creating is fantastic, stop being so hard on yourself, it's fine. So I think it's just also very important that you have a supportive group of people that are like-minded in the sense that they're also entrepreneurs or in that field that you're in.
I want to ask you, though, because usually strong women, I have a lot of incredible male friends, and I love them deeply, and they're amazing, and they have shown me so many things. Like, you have a different perspective. What's something that you've taken away, positive, we're gonna go with positive, from the opposite sex, in business or in entrepreneurship?
Remove your emotions.
Okay.
Sometimes
That's hard.
we just get super emotional about the thing, and it's like, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Where did you get that idea? Because we love to make up stories. We love to make up stories, and now it's a whole thing, and that's not even the case. So sometimes we have to remove our emotions behind it and just know it's business.
Yeah.
And just go into it knowing your goal. If someone says something, don't be offended by it to the point where it's like, I don't even want to work with this person anymore, even though they're an amazing person at what they do.
Yeah.
Just don't be so emotional sometimes. That's
like
what I
that.
take from men.
Bonnie?
I think there's like that saying that's going around now, which is be delusional. Literally walk into the room, delusional, crazy AF, and just
Like, you
let
own
it
it.
all out. Yeah. You own, you know what I mean? Just walk in there, own it. What's your MO? What is it? Whatever it is that you wanted to achieve, it's yours already. Yeah. And I commend men for that energy. They do walk into a room very, you know, like, this is mine.
Yeah.
We can too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just put it.
Yes.
But I feel like, I think those emotions, I think, is part of that intuition that you spoke of earlier too. I think that's our power as women. We have that little navigation system where we know when something is. Yeah. It allows us to move into the room with more savviness and being so brute. No offense, guys. So I think if we find that balance and we know how to, I guess, flirt with our feminine and male energies, you know, we can really achieve great things when we get into a room.
You know,
But definitely be crazy. Go in there, it's yours already.
and that's what it is. Like, I think, you know, fellas, you do one thing and it's amazing. Whether you deserve to be there or not, can't nobody tell me it's not your room. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, and that is something that I have learned from men. They can fake it so well. Like, they have half the skill, no experience, and they'll be like, I should be the CEO of this company, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said, there's a confidence, and they're taught to be confident in any situation, right? It's one of those things that boys are brought up with. You walk in there like you belong there. It's your room, you're the boss, you're the leader. And my word was actually AS confident. And when we were doing the photo shoot, I was saying something and I was like, they're gonna be like, this girl is so arrogant. And literally Angie and the photographer was like, no, it's confidence. And for me, it was such a gut check moment because as a woman, we're taught to be humble. We're taught to be, I don't want to say meek, but we're taught to walk in the room and to downplay our greatness, to downplay our magnificence, right? Be seen and not heard. And that is something that I envy in men and that I try to take from my friends because when they walk into a room, you know, they're looking everybody in the eye. They're taught to walk up, you shake a hand. It doesn't matter who it is, if it's the president of the company, if it's the president of the United States of America, if it's, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, you deserve to be face to face with them. And they're gonna push through whoever they need to. If they know that that person is going to help them get to the next place that they wanna be at, they have no problem making the way to get there. And that for me, as a woman, is something that I am trying to take into the next phase of my life. Like you said, be delusional, there's a cockiness, and it's not being, you guys know what I'm talking about. Don't be that. Don't be that.
You gotta like humble brag.
Yeah,
Humble brag.
and there's an art to it. And the men who have mastered it, if you can find somebody that when you walk away from a conversation, they flexed, but you didn't get the heebie-jeebies from that flex. You walked away like, that's an impressive person. That's a skill that will get you so far in life, where you can flex in a way where people feel like, damn, that was an inspiring conversation that I had, or that's a person that they're going to remember you when you walk away. Like,
You know,
that's important.
Something that I want to build off that, I think it's important for us to understand why, as women, we struggle with that. And it comes again from cultural like upbringing and especially as a woman, we're meant to be feminine and cordial and delicate, and nothing about being assertive in a room is that. And so again, with understanding more of yourself, your background, you can understand other people better and you can connect on a better level. But I think it's definitely important to remember and understand
And you can be feminine and bold at the same time.
Absolutely.
I'm sitting up here in combat boots.
Absolutely.
And I've got hair down to my butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think, and I did that intentionally because I was gonna come in all super girly with like a 5-inch stiletto, and then I was like, no, it's Women's History Month. I'm going into my Doc Martens and my blazer and my scarf, and it's hot too, by the way. Like, it's toasty up here. But I did it for a reason. But it is one of those things is that we have this ability to balance it all. And when you can, ladies, understand you are unstoppable. Because you can be beautiful and smart. You can be, feminine and emotional and a boss. You can be all of those things. It's just learning how to harness all of your power and use it for good and not even, I'm just kidding. But you know where I'm going with that. We have so many amazing qualities that are just built into being women. We just have to figure out how to harness all of them and put them to good use. Because let me tell you, if dudes had all of this, oh my God, they'd be even more unbearable than they are now. Just kidding, fellas. I'm having fun. It's our month. I can say these things. It's our month, damn it. But no, seriously, if they had everything that we had, they'd be women.
And I just wanted to echo a little bit of what you were saying earlier about it being like a cultural, like there's a bit of cultural like aspects to it. Like for Latinas, we kind of grow up with this phrase that's calladita se ve más bonita. Being quiet, you look prettier, which is like this idea of like stay in your lane, stay in your space, don't get involved in like these men's situation. And that's what we grow up listening. I don't know about you all, but I grew up listening to that, and I abided by that because that's what I was taught. And as I'm older, I came to realize, no, why am I listening to that? It's a terrible message for us to share for the next generation of women. And so you have to fight against that cultural perspective and also teach your family or your community that that's not the right message to send young women to stay in their lane and be quiet. No, raise your voice up and speak. Say what you feel, say how you feel, let it be known.
Well, you have a magazine. She literally rocks a mic for a living, and you are out here traveling the world, changing one of the biggest billion/trillion-dollar industries on the planet, right? So I think you are all clearly shattering the it's better for women to be seen and not heard narrative, and we're so appreciative for that. But again, that was started so that we would do just that, stay in our lane, because they know our power. You understand? So if you can get us to sit there and just be quiet and not put in our 2 cents, then we don't have this happening, right? We don't have the revolution that is here, that is coming, the women's march is happening, all that good stuff. So listen, as we wrap things up, how can men and women help empower one another? Because guess what? At the end of the day, we need each other. We need each other. We have to work together, and we really can make one another better. Women can make men better leaders. Men can help empower women to lead and to do the things that we do well. You know, we need men in the room that are on our side. Like, understand that. We need you guys out there standing shoulder to shoulder with us when we're fighting the fight for, you know, pay equity, when we're fighting the fight for reproductive rights, when we're fighting the fight for everything that we're fighting for and have been fighting for. We need men standing toe to toe with us. So how do we do that? How do we help each other be better humans?
It takes a village, right? And everyone has to be involved in the village. And we have to, like you said earlier, we have to really know how to communicate with the purpose of understanding. Sometimes it's like, oh, women are crazy, men are crazy. We try not to understand each other because we have these preconceived notions about who women are or who men are, but we should really sit down and try to understand each other.
Yeah.
And I think once we do that, we'll really start building a community with one another. And I see it all around, like my brother here, James Clinton, like we sit and we talk and we have conversation with the intention of understand where I'm coming from. And the same way I talk to my girlfriends, I talk to my guy friends, it's also important to have them, you know, in the creative world as well for them to really understand. But like you said, communication with the purpose of understanding each other. Like, you're not gonna be quiet just because it's not your turn to talk. Like, I really want you to understand what I'm saying, and I am going to really understand what you're saying. So once we come to an understanding, we're gonna do nothing but build.
Yeah, I like that.
Wait, what was the question again?
How can men and women empower each other to be better? Is it that dire?
What do you mean?
Is it that bad of a
No.
situation?
No.
Bonnie's like, I don't see it happening anytime soon.
No, not at all. I mean, it's about how do I put it into words? Leveraging those relationships, authentic communication. I think, like what I said in the beginning of this talk, remembering that we're all, at the end of the day, people, we're humans, all seeking to be understood and understand, we can get really far. And whether it's a man or a woman, just going back to that and saying, listen, this is what needs to get done. I need your help. It's putting ego aside. You know, you don't have to, as women, we don't, because this is something that I struggled with, and I feel like I'm overcoming it. I don't have to walk into a room and be all, no. You know, I come in, you know, with authenticity, communicate with authenticity, and again, leveraging those relationships and people's, I guess, powers and influence, and saying, listen, I need your help. This is what I want to do. How can you help me, and how can I help you back in return? All ego aside, and if you're in the same room with people with a common goal, great things can happen. So it's really about that, I feel.
Marivette, anything to add?
I feel like they said it all. It really is having good communication with one another and listening to what the other person is saying and really taking it in and, like you said, understanding it. And as Bonnie said, just lifting each other up, whether you're a man or a woman. If you're a man in a position of power and you see that there's a woman that can really do the job tenfold, give that person a voice, give them a platform, use your power to lift them up. And same for women, do it to other women too, because women sometimes in their careers or in their workplace, because there's so little positions for women or positions of power for women in the workplace, we tend to get catty or don't want to help each other out. Don't do that. Go out to lunch with your fellow coworker that's a female and listen to them, listen to their issues, their struggles, help them out. support them. And when you see that there's an opening,
Yeah.
make sure you include them in that
Yeah.
in that space. So just going back to what they said, listening and lifting each other up, I think is key.
Fellas, invite us golfing, okay?
Yes.
All these business deals getting done on the golf course, at least let us drive the cart. You know what I mean? Let us be a part of the conversation. And I think that that's the big thing there. Like, we just need, scoot over a little bit. You don't
Let
even
us
have to
know.
give me your chair. Just scoot over a little bit so I can sit at the table, you know? And I think that that's a big part of it. And for women, I think, like you said, leveraging those conversations, not being afraid to engage them in that honest, authentic way. If you can talk sports with them. You know what I mean? They don't need another mother. They don't need another wife. Like, if you're talking about coworkers in that environment, you know, come into it and fellas, really just be open-minded. If you're a man in a position of power, if you're a boss, if you're a leader, I love that you said that, Marivette. Take the gender away from it. When that next promotion comes to the table, look at your staff as just people across the board. Don't take into consideration it's a man or a woman. Don't take into consideration she might need to leave on maternity leave, because guess what? The dude is, it's 2022. He's asking for paternity leave too. You know what I'm saying? We are equal opportunity. We're taking time off because we just had a baby as a family, people. And I say that because I think if you take gender out of it and you just go, who's the most qualified? Who's going to help my business get to the next level? Everybody wins. And as soon as we start to take steps in that direction, slowly but surely, you're going to see more women climbing the ladder on merit. Not because of what they look like, not because there's some quota, but on their God-given abilities and skills, because we have them. And we bring something that another man on the team isn't going to bring to the table. We bring that women's intuition, right? We bring a different kind of perspective. And 9 times out of 10 in business, we're who you're targeting, right? So if you have somebody on the team that represents your demographic, all you can do is win and grow from that situation. So just be open-minded to it and give the best person, the most qualified person, the opportunity, regardless of whether or not y'all play softball together, regardless of whether or not you play soccer together, regardless of whether or not they took all your money last week at poker. You know what I mean? Like, you just gotta let's try to start leveling the playing field, right?
And honestly, if they don't want to let you slide in, if
Oh,
they
no,
don't want to
push.
make the room, then you break down the damn table and you build it
Yes,
yourself,
honey.
which is exactly what I think all of us have done here.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. So round of applause for these incredible panelists. We can take some questions. I know we have Yoli Mayor, who's getting ready to perform. If there's any questions for these ladies, they are here. Does anybody have any comments, questions they'd like to add? Are we good? Yes? Did we enjoy this? You guys were one of the best audiences I have ever. Thank you so much. You were quiet. You were videotaping. My God, can you come to all of like the shows that I do? I'm just saying, when it's like, you know, Jason Derulo or Shawn Mendes, is like, they won't shut up, these people in the audience. They're just crazy. No, you guys were incredible though. So a round of applause for yourselves. Thank you so much. You guys were absolutely amazing. If you took video, if you took any pictures, please post them on social media. Use hashtag Dorado. I'm only gonna say it once because I'm gonna mess it up again and there's important people in this room and I don't wanna do that. At El Dorado FL as well. Please make sure we just wanna repost everything. It's been an incredible night. It's not over yet. The bars are still open. Again, Yoli's gonna perform and she's gonna be phenomenal. Can we please get one more round of applause for Bonnie Beats, my girl Keesha, and the fabulous Marivette. Everyone, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gracias.